Welcome to 50 Plus Home and Gardening. Today we're going to talk about fencing, all kinds of fencing. If you like maybe a primitive style, you may like these Williamsburg picturesque kind of fences. Very, very simple, but very, very unique. Maybe a few jute pieces tied together and or some small wire. Anything to put those together really makes a unique impact in your garden. So make it unique for you. You may be interested in just cutting down a branch outside that's bigger, and you may want to just put that as a defined line, and that's it. That is a pretty little fencing that you've created. And or if you want to have that white picket fence, that is always a pleasure to look at. Very country cottage, any way you want it. Now, if you want to get a professional to help you out, or if you just want to do your own style, there are so many ways to have a pretty little garden. So make it your own, not your neighbor's. Take the things that you have in your garden and make it your own, and make it your own personality and to what your abilities are. Fencing comes in different ways. You can actually just put a tomato stake right there, and then you can have a jute piece that's really pretty and put it across like farm, so it looks like a farm fence to corral some zinnias. It's really anything you want. So there's so many designs out there of fencing, but you can do it as easy or as extravagant, braiding, all kinds of fun fences. If they're homemade, they actually look the best, I think. Here's some fancy fencing that we created. Just some 2x4s and some fence posts that we cut in half, painted, and you have a pretty little fenced in yard for yourself instantly right away. That can be homemade or you can get it done. So that's another way of fencing. That is creative. We made it ourselves. Here's another kind of fencing that we made, and I think Jeffrey just drilled holes to make this little V thing, and just more like squares. Put it together, and on the back side, we just put, these are like garden stakes that I painted white. They're green garden stakes. I think there's just 2 of them that holds the whole fence up. So there's so many fun ways that you can make the garden just cuter. I want to show you a fence that I put together in my garden. It's so simple, but it was fun to do, and I did half of this stuff in the winter time. So I put it together, and now it's still there in the summer, and the plants have grown into the garden, and they look really beautiful. And they, you can now define the path and the garden. So I really like that. I'm going to show you another project that I do with extra whips that I've cut. So I've cut all these branches down, and I put them in categories. These are too small probably to use, and then these are really good and tall for projects, and then these are kind of skinny, but what can you do with those? Well, here's what I do. So a lot of my branches had the lateral branches, and so what you got to do first is they all need to just be sticks, just regular sticks with no sides. So I'll just take my Velcros and just cut all the side ones off. Okay, now I have a solid stick, and I'm going to put that one because that's slightly bigger. Those are the fattest, biggest whips that I have, and these are just going to go in the fire pit pile. So I do have a fire pit pile plus my water. Right over here I have a new garden, and I just put this log in front so I can say this is the pathway and this is the new garden. Well, I'm going to take some of these sticks, and I'm going to put a stake as tall as you want. So just we'll get the biggest sticks that I can find, and then we'll cut them later. So we'll just pop them in the ground willy-nilly, say 8 inches to 6 inches apart. So let's, I'll do that first. To do this fence project, I have my poles. It doesn't have to be super even because you're going to weave these. So now I'm going to want to cut them exactly the height that I would like my little fence. Okay, I've cut everything down to about 1.5 feet. And it's not even right now because you don't really have a lot of things holding it up. But I am going to now weave. These are what I cut off of the tops of them. And I'm going to weave them. So you can start anywhere you want, but you go behind this one. The next one, you'll go in front of it, and then you'll go behind this one. You can see this is behind, forward, behind, forward. And then it sort of ends. So it's okay. So just leave it as the way it is. And you can add anywhere you want. So you may take the next one, and instead of starting here, you can start here. So, well, for this time, I'm going to start in the back because I need these to kind of straighten up a little bit. So we're going to come in front now. And then this one will go behind, and that way, see how it's straightening up? So that's how you get a fence. And then this one goes automatically in the front. And so wherever it ends is fine. If you need to put another stake, go ahead and put another stake. But this one will start to straighten up as we get taller and taller and taller. And that's all it is. And so basically, you can weave in and out. I usually start with the thicker ones on the bottom, kind of give it some support. And then I get to the leftover skinnier ones that I have left. And if you want it this high, you don't have to do it all in one day. Every time you find a whip out in your garden, you can just keep adding to make this a taller and taller fence. And you can also, you decide you want to cut this off, you can cut it off at any point you want. So I'm going to get started with this. And like I said, we're just going to go behind, forward, behind, forward until the stick ends. And if it starts to get thick somewhere, then starts in a new place. You can see how this fence idea is just a way to get rid of twigs, and like I said, you just go in and out of each pole that you create. If you have really short branches, you may want to put another pole in between before you start. Now, you can always take all of this out. This is just weaved in. I didn't strap it. If you feel like right now, because some of mine were so short, I have an end here. I could tie this in with jute, or you could just tuck it. However you want to do it. If you're a perfectionist, you may not like this look, but I think it's really, really cute. It's just a way to, I have some irises back here. They'll get large, probably as large as these sticks. So I'll probably put these sticks a little lower, and it just kind of gives you a instant creating of a box instead of having this large one. I may just cut this one up and put it in the fire. Actually, I just thought of it, but I'm going to put it over here until I figure out what I want to do here. So now that that is away from there, you can kind of see how this is weaving. And if I wanted to, now that's just a hose back there. If I wanted to later on, I could, well, you can continue to put in these twigs. You know, I find them all over the place. So when you don't know what to do with the twig, you just kind of weave in between. And this will just get taller and taller and taller until you get it to the right height. Once you get to the right height, you can take these poles and cut them down again. And then you can put the stumps in the fire pit. But this is really good for now. I have a walkway. I'll be putting some more mulch, and I think I'll dig these hoses underneath the path. This is a path, and this was sort of like a place where it was next to the cistern and the initial Williamsburg garden, but this is kind of a place where I haven't really dealt with yet. But I have some hoses that lead to the cistern that I need to just bury down just a little bit to get them out of the way, and this too, to just make it go down so it takes it away. And then this fence will be quite nice. Okay, I just fixed them up a little bit more. But as you weave higher and higher and higher, these will get stiffer and stiffer and stay up more upright. I just ran out, so I didn't really have enough for here. This is all the twigs that I got from just the fruit trees. So that's kind of like my starting of the fence, and I'll just continue it. If you're a perfectionist and you just want to have this done, just get it professionally done, do bricks or stone. But if you kind of like that country style and a little bit at a time, that kind of gives us something to do with our twigs, just temporarily. Maybe you want to think of another idea. You can always take this out and burn it in your fire pit later on. But fun idea for an instant bed. This would prevent this fence, just this little teeny fence. It's about 10 inches tall, will prevent things from flopping over. But look at this. A few of the sticks are blooming apple buds. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I'm just gonna leave it there. Here's another one. They're not touching the ground. I did not stake them in. They're just blooming out of the sticks. They're still wet, and they are blooming apple. They're not going to get any fruit, and they will die as soon as it gets hot. But right now, it's just funny. But I love the fence idea, and be creative and see what you can come up with. It's just really fun. Here's this fence that has grown-up plants, some irises, and a beautiful sunflower that is growing. So I really like that. And over here, I just have an extra branch, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I may do some jute, or maybe if I can find some more sticks in the winter time. But I'm ready for it with the sticks that I have. They have a white. I can actually spray paint this white if I want. Anyway, this is a good path for fences or something to get you through, and just have something cute. So keep moving, keep gardening, and stay creative. And I'll see you next time.